And we're live. Yeehaw. All right, there we go. Sadly, I'm busy. Now you are. Oh, just a full packed week, I guess, of stuff. But yeah, football's on, so I have to make this. Okay. I'm gonna get the sizing thing done, figured out at some point. So, haha. Kale is here, creeping. Haha. Yep. You see it, you never miss it. So, anyways, I felt like a good opportunity to talk about electric vehicles. My never-ending hate, no, not hate, but my doubt of the narrative that is being spoon-fed to people on the internet about these things. I just don't think it's as rosy as everyone thinks, and I'm glad to see that maybe Tesla's coming back to earth a little bit. So, but I mean, so understand, like, EV sales are still growing. They're still growing. It's slowing down, and now there's a concern because interest rates are up. So you can see this disconnect now. Like they've all had these huge investments. All the companies like Tesla, GM, Ford, huge investments into the infrastructure because it's a separate infrastructure from ICE vehicles. So they were fine making those investments the last few years, right? When interest rates were down, sure, make those investments. You don't need much of a return if you're borrowing money at like a 1 or 2% rate. But now now the equation's changed. They can't borrow money at that cheap. Now it's more expensive. So those losses on top of borrowing money at higher rates, I think, is making them question the feasibility of doing this. And now we're starting to see slight slowdown in the sale of EVs in the US, which is concerning these companies. And it should concern them. It's only, was it 6 to 7% of US vehicle sales? It might maybe 7.9, I think, so it's not a big portion of the US, and they're already seeing fatigue with electric vehicle sales in America. And they're not even to 10% of total sales. So this whole narrative about like by 2030 or 2035 being mostly electric, it's just not happening. It's not happening. There's no will. I mean, there's a political agenda to push this, but man, I think you're drinking the Kool-Aid if you think this is going to happen. Like, will this is the EV future going to come? It will, but like, let's slow down. I mean, I think we're 20 years from this being feasible. Honestly, 2035, I think, is even with the current technologies and the current will in America to get like for infrastructure development. I mean, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Um, Yep, I was gonna get to this. Is it 50,000 now? Last I checked, it was 33. Like, like Rivian, like whenever people talk about Rivian as an investment, like all I have to tell you is, yeah, okay, they lose 50,000, like something 30, 40, 50,000 every truck that comes off the assembly line, they lose money. How do you invest in this? Like, what are you investing in? I just and that's the problem all of them are going to have. But when interest rates were low, people were willing to make those investments, right? The risk-free rate was it sucked so bad, but now you can get 5% treasuries. Why are you taking the risk on an investment like that, where there's a lot of potential downside to a company that so far has proven they can't make a vehicle for a profit? And they're not the only ones, but Ford's having this problem, which we'll get into. I don't follow GM much, so I'm not going to get into GM. But you can see here, you can Kelly Blue Book does quarterly reports on vehicle sales. So you can see overall, this is a concern with Tesla probably. So we're talking about, okay, so the whole EV segment in the US slowdown. It's not growing as fast as it was, a year or 2 years ago. But now we look at companies, you can see the board's pretty full right now. So if you're wondering why Tesla's getting beat up, well, it's like there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition, and I knew it was coming. So yeah, they were first to market, but the rest of the market's kind of going to catch up. This is just like the equivalent of when the Ford Model T came out, 100 years ago. They were the first revolutionary technology at the time, but people catch up in the industry. It's just what happens. The next guy in the development cycle is not going to take as much time, and it won't cost as much as the first mover. And this is how industry works. And then the next one is cheaper, faster, and the next developer comes out with a better, cheaper product. Um, what I would concern me with Tesla, like looking at this, the Europeans are coming on strong, and friggin' the Koreans. You got Hyundai is coming out with some good products. You can see the growth rates. So this is the most recent quarter. Tesla 26%, but then you got like look at the big players. So you got Lexus, Lucid had good numbers. It's small volume, but you're growing fast. Hyundai, that's a big jump from 24 to 41,000 vehicles, 66%, 0.9. Genesis, so there's another Korean product. BMW, they're starting to ramp up, 265% growth. Audi, where's Mercedes? Mercedes, 300% jump. So, good for you. Tesla was the first, but I mean, now there's options, and there's some really good options. I've test driven and looked at some of these other EVs. They're really cool. So, they're cool products. Some of them, like the Hyundai car, I thought was pretty nice, and the Mercedes. I mean, it's Mercedes. I mean, what more do you ask for? So, I'm telling you, this is what's going to kill Tesla. They are screwing up their branding. I used to work I used to work in auto sales when I was in high school, early college. My dad sold cars, so I know auto sales to some degree. It's like in my family. There's a price range you develop for your vehicle, the branding of the vehicle. Like when you close your eyes, you can imagine what a Toyota will cost and a Honda. They stay in those boundaries. They know what they sell. And Tesla had that. They were the premium electric vehicle. Premium build, premium, features, everything was perfect. And then they just keep dropping the price and dropping the price. And now it's like, how are you going to tell people you are the premium electric vehicle, but now you're selling at dirt cheap prices? There's they're ruining the branding of their vehicles. And I don't get it, because they don't do subscription based cost. So I don't see why they are this push. And they don't have ICE vehicle profits to fall back on like a lot of the other players. So like, whether you like it or not, like Ford has profitable gas, segment. So does GM. So does Honda, Toyota. They can fall back on that for profitability. Tesla doesn't have that. They have to push the issue, I guess. But it would be concerning if I was a Tesla investor beyond my index funds. So you can look, here's actually by vehicle. So we're looking, so here, now this is concerning if you're a Tesla investor. Like, okay, Model 3 only grew at 6% year on year sales, 6%. So like, where's the growth narrative? Model S, down almost 50%. Model X down 7. So this is all they have going for them right now, as far as creating this growth narrative for you, is the Model Y, the hope for the robo taxis to somehow magically appear out of nowhere, and the Cybertruck being your salvation. Like, I don't see where, where you get growth out of this. Oh my god. Oh my god. They used to lose 100,000. Yep. Yep. Second mover. Like, just because you're not first to the party doesn't mean you can't go to the ball. Daimler Electric semis. Yeah, I did see. You asked me. I saw that. I don't really have a great opinion on Daimler. It's hard for me to do research on them because they're European. I don't have an international brokerage account, so I have to remind myself how to look at international finances. I got a family members work test, and they're telling me exactly what Dan said. Okay. So it's just like, I don't know. This is what's going to kill Tesla. He I mean, it wasn't a good option. you would have either had margins get obliterated, what they're doing right now, or you would have had to cut production, and then you could have kept your margins, but you would have had drops in sales, total sales. You would have got obliterated there too. Probably worse, honestly, than the margin drop would have been the reduction in sales. So short, I get why they're doing what they're doing. It does make sense to some degree, but man, they've built those huge gigafactories, and they have these fixed costs to run those things for a certain output. So to drop output, I can see what they have a huge dilemma on their hands. But you can see the competition's here. It's coming. And all these Tesla shills on YouTube are going to tell you that Tesla has a overwhelming, yeah, they're 50% of EV sales. So yeah, they have a dominant position, but they're losing market share. They had like 62 or 64% last year. So they're losing market share fast. And yeah, the Europeans and the Koreans are coming with strong products. The Japanese haven't even entered the party yet, is what people like. The Honda, Toyota have not even entered this party yet. They're just getting into EVs in the next few years. I think they've just been waiting on purpose. They let everyone else figure out how to, build these things in the process. And I think they're going to learn through other people's growing pains. So then the Europeans, there's a big push in a lot of European countries to have EVs. In the higher income countries, like in the Norwegian countries of Europe. So I think that's going to be an advantage once Mercedes, BMW get rolling, that they're in that area already. So I don't know. So there's a critique of Tesla and also just general EV sales. Like, I thought it was ahead of the curve. This excitement of people saying we're all going to be driving EVs by 2030 or something. I mean, I've said, like, I know people in utilities, the utility companies can't build this infrastructure. So if you think your utility company is going to build EV infrastructure, they can't. They don't have the money. They just don't have the funds. It's not how they're not designed for huge infrastructure capex. Um, it would have to be public funded, some massive infrastructure built by Congress, or you can have more private investment like we're currently in. But your utilities is not building out EV structures. And a lot of these for-profit charging companies don't make money. There's a few I've seen that make money that deal like directly with like gas stations. I saw one. But the ones that just build supercharging networks, and then that's all their business is, they're not profitable. So they're going to live on the hope that they get government grants in the future, I think, or that someday it will become profitable. But you're going to lose equity by owning one of these things. So sales 7.9%. The fact that we're not even at 10% and we're already seeing EV slowdown, very concerning. So if you're a big excited EV person, I think the narrative is not going your way at this point. So I am doing great. I'm doing great. And I mean, I know there's political mandates, but like these aren't laws. All right. Like as soon as another president comes in, like there's not laws by Congress. These are mandates from the executive branch of the United States. Those can be changed as soon as the next president comes in. Executive orders get slashed away as soon as the next president comes in. So it doesn't mean anything. I mean, more important would be like what's California doing, because usually California institutes a certain policy. The rest of the states adopt it just because California is such a huge market share in the United States that the auto industry, they're not going to make a California only model and then a model for the rest of the states. They'll just follow through with what California mandates. So in this California, whether they like it or not, it's kind of important with automotive, legislation is something you should follow more than Congress, unless they do some infrastructure bill. That's why Trump did, I believe, sue California about their EPA requirement or their emissions laws, because he was trying to get those thrown out because he thought they were too restrictive. When is the McDonald's update? Maybe Thursday. Okay, I'll talk about McDonald's Thursday. I'm gonna come back Thursday. I don't have a lot to say. I just hold it. Like I don't really need to be up to date on it, but let me guess, did they kill it? Like I tell you, McDonald's is an amazing company. As soon as people get in doubt with them, oh, things are scary. It's like they just nail it. Grand slams. Dan fired on McDonald's. Yeah, kind of actually, but um, so looking at Ford, like I said, I don't follow GM. I'm not gonna follow GM, but like we look at Ford. Okay, they've broken. It's nice they've broken it into segments, so you can see the commercial side, the electric, and then the ICE vehicle side. So you can see if you come down, look at the margins. So 6.7 on the ICE vehicles, 12 on the commercial, which is saving their butt, and just getting wrecked on electric. So it does present, if they are really going to pull back on some of the capex on the electric vehicle segment, their margins and their profitability and all their metrics are going to improve in the next few quarters. So if they're at a bargain bin stock price, I've traded this company like 7 times. So it's interesting as a trade. I don't know. You'd have to believe they are actually going to reduce capex on the electric side. They said slow down development, which is not the same. But like you can see, this is the conundrum of these companies. You're using your profitable historic businesses, pushing them into a money losing business. It's not that much different than what the streaming services are doing. Disney taking their profitable parks and cruise line businesses and the legacy cable, still very profitable, dumping it into Disney Plus garbage, and they're slowing that down also. So it's at some point investors have had enough, because investors, there's supposed to be promises of gold at the end of the rainbow when you do this. So I think now it's kind of a come to Jesus moment, I think, because of the interest rates have kind of caused this, and sales are down a little bit. So you can see again margins. This story has been there for a while now. It's not surprising. So we'll see what they do. This is still phase one. They have like phase two, phase three plans for their electric vehicles. So maybe they just, instead of like 5 years, maybe they stretch it to 7 or 8 years. There's their plans. So we'll see. But I mean, most companies are in the same dilemma as this, except for Toyota. So going on to Toyota, I mean, this is the transcripts from Ford's earning call. So Jim Farley talked about the slowing down of their launches. So if you want to search a transcript, you can read what Jim Farley said. They're slowing down investments on the Mach E production. So I already knew this. They've slowed down Mach E production because the sales are kind of crap at this point. Lightning sales are still improving, but it's small volume. Now so you got in the United States and in Europe, you have the European brands, and Korea are taking out Tesla's market share. And then now you look at China, and in China, which Jesse has already mentioned to me like a while ago. So this is not new. None of this is new. This has been around for a while now. They're getting crushed in China by BYD. And BYD is supported by the Chinese government, and you can best believe they're going to steal Tesla's technology at some point if they're not already. So have fun with that. If you want to play ball in China, this is what you're dealing with. Unfair field, but they're not going to win this. And if they keep trying to outcompete basically the Chinese government in China, it's not going to work. They're not going to beat BYD in China. So it's a losing strategy, I think. But who's not losing? Who did I say? I talked about them months ago. I've been saying Toyota is going to be the dark horse to win this. This is not a 1-year competition. 10 years from now, Toyota's the winner. I'll call it right now. Toyota is patiently waited. I don't think it was on purpose at first, because it was the original CEO who's gone now. I think he just didn't want to get into it. But that might have been a blessing that they've been delayed so far in EVs. So they've been able to think about it and seeing what's happened in the industry. Their sales are still, they're growing on 8 to 10%. Their ICE sale. And I think they have a 30% uptick in their EV sales recently. So their sales numbers are impressive for a company as big as them at this point. And here it is. Sales jumped 10% year on year in May. EV sales up 30% this year for a company as big as them. So they're on the right path. And you could see in their share price this year ticked up pretty good. So we'll get, and then the battery technology is why I would be most bullish about Toyota at this point, and their flexibility with hybrids. So like they're going to bring back hybrids because lithium battery technology is not the future. It's not going to be the future. I hate to break it to these people. Lithium battery cars are not going to be what get us to electric vehicles. There's going to be a transition period, I think, of hybrids. And then we're going to get into solid state batteries in the late 2020s and then in the 2030s when solid state batteries become a reality. These lithium battery cars are going to be dinosaurs. It's going to be the equivalent of Blu-rays. How many years were Blu-rays the thing before streaming came about? So like we're in the Blu-ray phase of electric vehicles. Heard a Tesla clown say that Toyota is going bankrupt. Fucking clowns. Like Ford is making money. I don't understand when you say they're going bank. Like, yeah, Ford makes money. General Motors makes money. Toyota makes money. I don't understand. You want to say who's gonna? Okay, Rivian, Lucid, all like every EV company except for Tesla. Like none of them make money. So like I don't know. They just list like it's just the Kathy Wood thing. If you say legacy auto, like you sound like a clown. I don't understand legacy auto. All these companies are like 100 years old. Like, what do you mean legacy auto? I don't understand. They make vehicles that move, and they've used different power sources for years. They don't care. So Ford is going to take over. I didn't say Ford was going to take over. Oh my God. Keep supporting big pollution. Oh yeah, keep murdering people with pharma drugs, big pharma. So, but the other part of this, which people just assume everyone wants these vehicles, and I think there was this narrative that everyone was just going to adopt. I've heard Ross Gerber say it. As soon as gas gets to $4 or $5 a gallon, everyone's just going to be lining up to buy EVs because they've had enough. And it's just not happening. Like gas is $4 a gallon, and sales of EVs are slumping. It's not happening. And actually, the cost of electricity is going up also because a lot of electricity is created by natural gas and coal. So you're still using fossil fuels to create electricity in some way, shape, or form. So the savings isn't what it was, and people don't care to some degree. Here's a survey they did of people. Yahoo Finance did, and they asked people if they would buy an EV. Over half of the people said they have like no interest in buying an electric vehicle. And you could put me in that. I have no interest. I don't think I think the technology is flawed. It's not ready yet. So, when you're online, just think about confirmation bias. The people that are online, just by the fact that you're on YouTube, you like technology. People that don't like technology are not on YouTube or Reddit. So just the people, it's confirmation bias. The people that you're dealing with have a propensity to like technology, and they're nerds. So they're going to like this more than the average person. The vast majority of Americans are not that type of person, though, on YouTube and Reddit and stuff like this. And they're not tech savvy, and they don't build computers. So they're just not interested in this. It's a total change in mindset too, because when I drive somewhere, you drive from your house to wherever you want to go. And then you look for a gas station on the way and you just go fill it up. So, and then you get an EV. It's not about going from your destination to where you want to go. You're going from from where you start to an EV charger. If you're going to take like a road trip, it's just like it's a different mindset. And then you got to sit there for 30, 40 minutes if you're lucky to find a charger. You can watch lots of YouTube videos of people doing EV road trips, and a lot of times it's like charger hell, basically, unless they're in parts of the country where there's a lot of chargers, which is like the West Coast, basically. But we're not ready for this. We're just not. the infrastructure is not there, and people don't want it. That's the more important thing, is that people don't want it. Over 50%. I mean, here, and I'm not surprised by this at all, but I would say, yeah, it sounds about right. Half of Americans just don't care. They don't want EVs. We're aware of it's. If somebody, we just don't know about it. People know about what EVs are, but we don't want them. I don't give a shit. So, and then here, look what Americans look for next for their next vehicle. It's all the big brands. I mean, there's no Toyota, just like always. They're in the top spot. It's not changed. Honda's right next to them. So I think there's people, you're getting ahead of yourself. I think you're 10 years ahead. These YouTube Tesla show, you're 10 years ahead of your time. That's what I think. Minimum a decade from now. But they think it's going to be this year. And every year, Elon's going to promise you robo taxis. Because I have articles. He promised robo taxis in 2021, 2022, 2023. Like, not even showing you the model yet. He was saying it was going to be in production like a year later. And I have multiple times I can show like clips where he keeps mentioning it. There's not even a robo taxi yet, let alone, man, you ain't getting that approved by all the DMVs. 50 states, the District of Columbia, every one of them has their own Department of Motor Vehicles, and you're going to have them all adopt these robo taxis to be driven on the streets. Nope. Good luck to you. So, and then the last point is just like, or actually a few more points. Fuck it. So I'll read this comment. So here's what you can find research online. It's not hard to find. There's engineering firms and there's auto firms that do studies and just research, and you can find it online. They've done studies on charging lithium batteries, like 200,000 miles of use, and they actually do x-rays of the batteries to detect wear and tear. These things don't hold up, lithium batteries that they put in cars today. They're not the solution, I'm telling you. They deteriorate. Some of the studies I've seen, 10% range reduction in 200,000 miles. Most of the studies, give or take, this is what I see. You lose 2 to 3% of the range of the lithium battery every year. And that's about the common theme I see. So just a lot, you can think about it. It's the same. I have power tools, and if you have a lithium battery in your power tool, it's the same technology as a car, lithium battery, basically, except that battery heats and cools itself. So it's a little more elaborate. Same idea though. And yeah, not surprising. Here's a guy. So this here. So he had a Model S 2013. So he's driven it for a long time. It's got a big battery pack. So when he bought it, 252-mile range full charge. But now I don't trust the car beyond 100 miles. It's only 10 years old. Okay. The range degradation combined with number of factors. He said it only shows 174 miles. And then for the last 2 years, he can't get, but here's the part, you don't get all of the mileage because the car basically goes into emergency mode at some point when you get the equivalent of like empty on your gas vehicle. It shuts down. So he gets 100 miles out of it 10 years after he bought it. I mean, it's barely usable. For most Americans, you wouldn't be able to use this because most people drive like 45 minutes to work and home, if not longer. So these batteries are the problem. And now we're finding, this will become more prevalent because we'll have more cars now. There's still newer vehicles on the road, EVs compared to ICE. So this problem isn't there yet. It's going to be more apparent soon. So, and then I guess anybody comments? Lordstown, they're already bankrupt. That was a failure because Lordstown Motor, I knew they were going to fail. They put the motors in the wheels, and when you looked up why they did that, basically it's because it's not proprietary and it's just like a commodity that you could order from like China, the wheel mounted motors, and it's cheaper for them. So it was an inferior product from the start. So they were bound to fail. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even get into it. Lithium mines. Lithium mines are terrible for the environment. Terrible. If you go online, like if there's economists and there's researchers that have done like the carbon cost, you can find this, the carbon cost of everything you can think of. Basically, you have to drive an electric vehicle like 90 to 100,000 miles to overcome the carbon cost of producing it because it's so much more intensive in labor and materials to build an EV compared to a gas vehicle. So the savings isn't when you buy it, it's when you drive it for like 100,000 miles. So like this whole narrative, they're better for the environment. Like it's the problem is the lithium is terrible for the environment to mine this stuff. And we basically haven't let it happen in the US because we basically give it to third world nations to mine it because it's so bad. I don't even know the ecological disaster if we did it here. I think there's like 2 mines in the United States. Yeah. And then the grids can't handle. I mean, people think, oh, it's great. You can show up to an EV station. There's 10 open chargers. Okay, well, if this EV future you imagine is going to happen, all those chargers will be full, and you're going to sit there for 2-3 hours waiting to charge your car. Um, it wouldn't be so rosy at that point. And a lot of people, if you look at the trends in housing, single home houses are not being built as much as like condos and apartments. So where are you going to charge it if you live in an apartment community? You don't have a garage you can plug into. So like just the way we build houses in the United States is not really a great, is not a good match for like charging cars. Um, these are lots of things to overcome. I mean, Elon will sell. I mean, Elon sells whatever he's got to sell to make people buy his stock. So, and he doesn't. I'm not saying he's lying, but the Optimus. He releases the Optimus news. He'll keep talking about robo taxis. The Tesla Semi is a complete waste of. I don't know why they even got into that. I think it's going to be. It's just a money sink for them. I mean, what Pepsi has like 24 Tesla semis. So I don't see why they even got into that. And all the other truck companies are working on electric trucks that are already there and established. Cummins has got electric motors. Allison's developing electric motors. So is Mercedes, Daimler. So they're all going to be there. It's just they're just coming later to the party because they can. So solid state batteries are coming. Toyota's been working on this. They're developing rapidly their solid state battery technology. This is the game changer. This is the equivalent of when streaming videos became a thing. So whatever, we're years and years from this though. So it's not like tomorrow. This is going to happen the end of this decade. This is going to be a thing. Cars. Now this is the final solution. If it comes to fruition, what they're talking about, there'll be problems at first though, because these are not ideal yet. I guess the problem is they don't last the durability of these batteries, but rapid charging, long range is where they're going. So yeah, theoretically, once they get established, I mean, you could get. I don't know if you need that much. Like, to me, like a lot of people I talk about, like nobody. I know one person with an EV. Everyone else, it's pretty much the charging is. We don't want to deal with charging. This is the consensus I get, and the range. The range is the biggest thing. Even more than the cost is just the range on these things suck with lithium batteries. If you can get to like 500-mile range, like then it's game over. Then it's game over. But it's not there. So yeah, Toyota's putting a big bet in. They're basically just skipping lithium. Like they put out like one EV just to show that they have something, like just literally to appease people. That freaking, what is it, the BZ4? I don't give a crap about that. That's just to appease people to show them that they have an EV. So they're going it's all about this solid state batteries with them. So they're lining up the manufacturing deals. They're doing the research. They have patents on this stuff. So, and then what Michael said, there's just a huge, the materials, like there does not exist enough supply of these precious metals for everyone in the world to drive EVs. Basically, it's probably going to be what Toyota envisions multiple vehicles. It's not going to be an EV world. It's going to be a mix of things. What you probably will have is the main populated areas will be electrified vehicles because that's where you need the pollution savings the most, is like cities, right? Because that's where most air pollution is, not in the country. So, have the EV. We don't have enough lithium for everyone. So put the lithium where it needs to be in the cars in populated areas. Rural areas, develop hybrid technology that just, gets 50 mile per gallon for like a truck. And then also for heavy equipment, maybe the solution is hydrogen cell. So I see a mix of different things. But then again, a battery could come out and makes all the other solutions irrelevant. But that's what I see given what we have now. So we'll see. But I would just tell the Tesla people, it's like, if you're buying Tesla at the valuations it's at right now, so like, what's the PE of it? 64. I don't know if that's right. It maybe okay. you have to believe so that the sales numbers are pretty bleak right now. So you have to believe in the new model, which your only new model you have coming is the Cybertruck. There's no other new models. So you have to believe that's going to be a runaway hit. It has to be a runaway hit. Um, I don't know. You'd have to Robotax. I mean, like any earnings from Robotax, there's zero. I don't even know how you get any money from Robotaxi, anything foreseeable in the next few years from Robotaxis. I mean, he could release it as a demo, but man, I don't see it. I don't know how they. I mean, you're buying it at such a rich valuation. There's the growth isn't there in the sales of the cars to justify that valuation. So the Cybertruck just would have to be just a ridiculous, just home run of a vehicle. And people don't buy vehicles like that in the United States. Like you're gonna get like Meet Kevin's gonna buy it, and Jeremy's gonna buy it, and like all the tech boys from the West Coast, the Coasties and stuff, are gonna want to buy one. But that thing's gonna be such a loser in most of the United States. And the development cost of a vehicle that like that, with the stainless steel, the bulletproof glass, and the flat there's they had to create processes to build that vehicle, like flat body panels. Cars don't have flat body panels like it does, so they had to create different production techniques with the stainless steel. So it's going to be such a sunk cost, and I think he said they're not going to be free cash flow positive on them for like 2 years after they even produce it, which I think that's even being generous given what it looks like the Cybertruck is, because it's so different of a vehicle to design. Wiggly gum chewing business protect. Yeah. I mean, like, would I buy Toyota stock? I mean, I don't know. Like, we're not like a lot of things still have to happen with the solid batteries. So, um, but you can see, like stock's been doing well because their sales are great, and their margins are great. So Toyota's been doing great so far this year. I don't know. It's still such a giant company. Um, given Japan's had such a run this year, their whole index. So something to think about. But I wouldn't mess around with the smaller players. I don't think, unless you want to speculate. I got something on self-driving taxis. Like I could show the video, the cruise that they got all blocked in where is it? Houston, I think it was. I think it was Houston. Yeah. Or maybe not. San Francisco. It's hilarious. Look at them all. They're all just they all just freak out, right? This isn't the only one. It happened in Austin, Texas. That's one I was thinking of too. But look at them. They're all just stuck. And what are you gonna do? Cop's gonna tell them to move it? Like, what if a fire truck had to get through here to go to emergency call? There's no one in the car to move it. Um, man, freaking things. It happened in Houston too. It was even worse. Oh, Waymo self-driving car stopped. Oh God. So they just stopped. Okay, here's another company, Waymo. Look at that. They're just oh my God, look at them all. Oh. And Elon has said that robo taxis are like now, like next year or two, there's going to be robo taxis out in the public working. Oof. Guy's crazy. Anyways, there's a company called Cruise. Yeah, I know Cruise. That was Cruise. They recently had a messed up accident. Like it only these robo tax. It only is going to take one accident. One of these robo taxis hurts somebody, drives over a kid. you watch the public outcry to friggin' prevent these things from being on the road. Just one accident, and politicians are going to move on it real fast to stop it. Yeah, same company, different event. Yeah, Waymo's Google. Yep. So I don't know. It's all going to happen. I mean, yeah, it's just years and years from now. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell Tesla people. I know there's lots of Tesla people online, but you really shouldn't be too overweighted in Tesla. Like, you had a good run, so you probably should have sold at the peaks, I guess. I don't know. You have to believe a lot of really questionable things. Not like there's a lot of things that have to happen for the valuation to make sense at this point. Like perfect, like the space, like I don't know, you get some value out of SpaceX on a spinoff. Somehow Tesla like really does well with that spinoff. Maybe they unload a bunch of debt on it, or you get shares of SpaceX, and then Cybertruck's a hit. FSD rolls out. Maybe he turns it to a subscription model, which it's not right now. Robotaxis actually become a thing, and you start contracting. I don't know. Things that don't even exist. So how do you value the stock based on something like Robotaxi? It doesn't exist. Like, it's not even a growth. It's zero. So I think why, like, if you want to speculate on this, so be it. But I don't know. But the unions did well. UAW, I think all the strikes are done now. So maybe I'll talk about this on Thursday. So union strong. I'm happy to hear. All right. Anything else? Time to finish watching the football game. And so with that said, what outro am I going to pick? Do I pick the one that got me copyright struck? No, maybe not. Oh, the military one. All right. So with that said, thanks for watching. I think I'm doing a stream Wednesday with Fabio. I'm not sure yet. I think that's when we do SoFi. So, and then Thursday, Jesus, lots of streams this week. I did my book review. I did the book review video. If you want to read it, it's a very fast read. I couldn't find a free PDF of it, so otherwise I'd give it to people. So with that said, I guess you'll be seeing me later this week. All right, let's play this one. Have a good one. Bye. Like nice coat, white coke, how you live with that smoke? Hop in, jock in, I'm just kidding, I'm broke. Sit a lot, I've been waiting for the day I don't get my pay. Check will make me happy instead of me getting laid. Never done in the middle with a gun, put a hole in his chest, put a torso, don't fall right in the sun, but until the desert